doctors felt as though that she needed to stay home to not take the chance of catching one of the many illnesses that are going around this time of the year. So this letter is on behalf of Beth. This is Shelby, and this is Beth's husband, Brad. Cancer will change your life in an instant. You receive the diagnosis, and without any preparation, you are thrown into an intimidating world of doctors, hospitals, and treatment. Your whole life is disrupted, and your future is uncertain. It's frightening, and it's lonely. I was introduced to cancer at the age of 13. My mother was so sick for so long. She was told repeatedly that she was anemic and had the flu. After a very long summer and winter, she was finally diagnosed with acute myelogenous leukemia, AML. We were all so scared. We knew nothing about this disease, and we were not prepared for what was to come. They rushed her to the hospital, where she spent 5 short weeks before she died on January 5th, 1977. Cancer was then reintroduced into my life during the summer of 2008. I started feeling different. My bones and my joints started to ache. I was more tired than usual, and I noticed that I was having difficulty breathing. In January, I was diagnosed with anemia, but I continued to get worse, and by early May, the bone pain was almost unbearable. My energy level was extremely low, my breathing was more labored, and I had numerous bruises on my body. On May 28, 2009, I was diagnosed with the same type of leukemia my mother had, AML. My prognosis was not as good. I had a 5-year survival rate of 36%. I remember hearing words from my oncologist as I felt numb. My mother died from this same horrible cancer. I was terrified. How could this be happening in our lives? The oncologist asked us to go straight to the hospital to start chemo that morning. I took a deep breath and asked if I could go home and prepare things for my family and talk to Shelby. She gave us until 6 p.m. that night. Driving home, I was in a daze. All I could do was cry and pray. How in the world do you tell your 15-year-old daughter you have leukemia? How do you tell your family, your friends? But as I drove home, a sense of peace and calmness came over me, and I knew I had to take control. I had to fight this battle. I was not going to let this cancer win, and I was not going to let my daughter grow up without a mother. During the summer of 2009, I endured 3 rounds of chemotherapy treatment. Each round was spent in the hospital, and each hospital stay was approximately 30 days long. It was exhausting, emotionally draining, and physically challenging. Not only for me, but for my family. But we got through it. I was in remission. In June 2010, I knew something was wrong. I had relapsed. We were all devastated. This time my prognosis was even more grim. We were told that if I didn't have chemotherapy, I would have 3 to 6 months to live. If I opted to only do chemo, and if I went into remission, I may live for a year. The only other option to drastically improve my chances of survival was for me to have chemo plus a stem cell transplant. If the transplant was successful, I could live a normal, healthy life. It was urgent that we started the search to find a donor match. The next round of chemo was even more excruciating. I was in the hospital for 43 days, and during this time, my siblings were tested to be a transplant donor. And by the grace of God, one was a perfect match, her sister Nancy. We were all so excited. The transplant took place on September 29th, and it went perfect. I am now 144 days post-transplant. Recovery has been slow, extremely difficult, and more debilitating than she ever expected. I've had a few complications, but all in all, I'm doing well. It is only through my wonderful doctors, our faith, our family, that I have fought this battle and survived. Cancer hits hard and is devastating. Whether you've been personally affected by cancer or you have family or friends who are faced with this dreadful disease, there is hope. 11 million Americans will celebrate another birthday this year due to the work of the American Cancer Society and other cancer foundations. Continued research is critical. Your donations are crucial. So please help save a life through your donations tonight. Thank you. God bless.